For each of the next 10 weeks, I'm going to discuss a new topic each week that I consider essential for mastering guitar. I first created this list 3 years ago with the help of some of my friends on our forum. At the time, I chose not to list these in order of importance because the list is subjective and all of these tips are necessary. This time, all tips will be listed in my current order of importance. To show you how this list fluctuates, the first tip that I will discuss didn't even make the cut until this morning. It previously held the number 11 position. Yesterday, I watched the student's practice video and realized that the student could use some help with the practice technique of repetition. So here we go. Tip number 10, repetition is the key to developing new skills. This is common sense. If you want to be a great basketball player, you've got to stand at the line and shoot hoops every day. Over time, your adaptive unconscious, commonly referred to as muscle memory, learns the task. I refer to repetition throughout the course as the key to master scales, licks, chords, and leads. What I'm going to explain today is that not all repetitive movement is created equal. How would you like to improve at twice your current rate? Listen closely. There is a recent research report from Johns Hopkins University that suggests by making slight changes to your repetition, skills can be learned much faster. The key is changes must be slight from session to session. Large changes did not produce additional improvement. I'll use mastering a scale pattern as an example of how you can mix it up from session to session. Practice on an electric guitar today. Do the same scale or exercise on an acoustic guitar tomorrow. The next day, practice in a different key. Following that, only play the pattern ascending. Then the next session, play it descending. So you're doing the exact same task, but approaching it slightly differently from day to day. This process is called reconsolidation. Existing memories are recalled and modified with new knowledge. This plays a key role in strengthening motor skills. In the Johns Hopkins research, gains in performance nearly doubled when small incremental changes were added from session to session. I want to quickly touch on one other aspect of repetition. You need to be sure that you're using proper technique while reinforcing a skill using this repetition technique. Otherwise, over time, your progress will be limited or non-existent. If your technique is incorrect, you reach a plateau that is physically impossible to move beyond. On our forum, students often talk about making a journal or graph to keep a record of daily progress. This record is only meaningful if proper playing technique is being utilized. It's not just about the metronome moving up 2 notches this week. The most important factor is the improvement in your playing technique this week. Even though you're playing faster, it doesn't mean that your technique has improved. You can play faster just by brute, massive repetition. Still, without an improvement in playing technique, your progress will eventually grind to a halt. Also, expecting day-to-day improvements in playing speed limits your ability to introduce subtle changes into your repetition sessions. Exercise 1 is from my Speed and Accuracy course, which is now integrated into the Complete Basic course. We haven't covered the diatonic scale yet, but by the time we do, you'll be ready. When I was producing one of Dan Mumm's programs, he mentioned that the diatonic scale is composed of only 3 patterns. Now, Dan kind of just tossed out the idea, but when I heard it, I was really taken aback. I had never viewed the scale from that perspective. Okay, so I'll explain what I mean there. A whole step is 2 frets, and a half step is just 1 fret. These are also called whole tone and half tone intervals. The first speed and accuracy exercise we did was this shape. Ascending its whole step, half step, descending its half step, whole step. This second shape, exercise 1, is half step, whole step, ascending. And the opposite, descending. The third shape that we'll cover in a future lesson is whole step, both ascending and descending. So those are the three patterns. The diatonic scale is comprised of only these three shapes. Exercise 1 is played with eighth note triplets, 3 notes per beat. Use alternate picking and no spider fingers. None of this. You've got to keep your fingers close to the fretboard and only pick up a finger when absolutely necessary. Keep fingers close to the frets and don't lift a finger until absolutely necessary. You must practice this with efficient fretting technique or you're wasting time. That may mean that initially it will be necessary to practice it slowly, very slowly. As I mentioned earlier, use repetition and work some subtle changes into your routine from day to day. Play it in different keys. It's in E minor. Here's G minor. Play it descending only. Try playing it ascending only. Use your imagination. Here is exercise 1, played slowly. This is exercise 1 with tab. Next, I'm going to quickly cover a few bar chords as shown in exercise 2. Now, these are shapes that I view as coming from the open E major chord. See, I'm moving the E major, the open chord, up the neck. I'm also moving the E minor chord up the neck. Here's a quick review of the technique I'm using for the bar chord. Slightly rotate the first finger so you're pressing the strings with the side of the finger. You're not completely on the side of the finger, it's just rotated slightly. Use a twisting motion to get leverage between the thumb and first finger. I'll move the E major chord up the neck until the bar is on the 3rd fret. This is a G chord because the root note of this chord is on the 6th string, 3rd fret. All of the following chords have a root note on the 6th string. Just look where the bar is on the 6th string, and that's the name of the chord. Here's A major, which is just called an A chord, and there is the A note on the 6th string, A minor 7th, A minor, and A 7th. Exercise 2 is expecting a lot from you, probably expecting more than you're capable of doing this week, and that's okay. Keep practicing these chords until you can change to them quickly and every string sounds. I'll play exercise 2 very slowly. Here's exercise 2 with tab and chord diagrams. As you may have noticed, that was not a song. It's just a chord demonstration. When you can play these chords without hesitation and all 6 strings sound clearly, you have officially entered the intermediate zone. Congratulations. Still, be patient. Chances are you will learn to play these accurately over the next couple of months. There's no way that a beginner can accurately play along with this that's only been playing guitar for 2 months. I call exercise 3 cool metal jazz. Now, why do I call it that? Well, because I think I'm funny. There's no other explanation. It's definitely not metal, but it is a fairly easy way to learn the minor 7th bar chord. Minor 7th is a great chord to get started with. Learning it will make all the other chords easier to play. Here's the exercise played very slowly. Here's exercise 3 with the tab. Exercise 4 is a real chord progression, one of my favorites. Many songs use variations of this chord progression. These songs range from All Along the Watchtower to Stairway to Heaven and my entire Hawk album. That's an exaggeration, but it is a favorite progression of mine, and I tend to use some variation of it way too often. Here it is played slowly. You have plenty of work to do this week. I've always considered learning these chords to be a milestone. So from this point on, there is no turning back. You're hooked. See you next week.